Hey, what's up guys? Brownie here coming to you with some more AFK Journey, and in today's video we are going to be talking about my tier list and how I build it. So this is sort of from the point of view of a PvP focused player, because I'm way more focused on PvP than I am on PvE, but I just wanted to show my opinion of a tier list because it's not a conventional tier list in any way. It's not the, the S through F tier and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to talk about how it works, because this game it's basically a rock paper scissors game, and a normal tier list just to me it doesn't tell the whole story of how strong heroes are and where they actually fit in the meta and just in the game in general. So I'm gonna do some PvP fights, I think, while I'm talking about all this, and on the side of the screen here I'll write up like what category that I'm talking about or what tier that I'm talking about, and we will just so you guys have something to see and remember what I'm talking about. And then we'll have PvP fights playing so you don't get too bored while I'm talking about all this stuff, because I mean this is gonna probably have to be a two-part video, since since putting all the heroes into these tiers will take me quite a while, and I'm not prepared to do that today. So yeah, we're going to talk about these tiers, and the first two are pretty self-explanatory, so we'll kind of move through those really quickly, but then the next 3 to 4 categories or tiers, whatever you want to call them, are a little bit more in depth, and they're the more the meat and potatoes of the tier list. So let's go ahead and do some challenges. I'll buy some attempts here, and then we will start on these tiers. So the first tier that I want to talk about is actually, I just call it the favorite hero tier, and it's, I mean, obviously self-explanatory. You put your favorite heroes in this tier because they're your favorite hero. That's really about it. And a lot of times the PvP teams that I end up designing they start with my favorite hero, and I build out from there. So if you have a favorite hero that you really want to use, go ahead and try to build a team that works around them and see what they can do. But yeah, that tier is pretty self-explanatory and not too much else to talk about there. The next tier is the bugged or broken tier. So these heroes are either bugged, they're broken, their skills are written incorrectly so they don't perform the way you think they would, all that kind of stuff. And those heroes can go in and out of this tier really at any time in the life of the game, because you never know when an update is possibly going to fix a hero or it's possibly going to break a hero. And you just gotta stay vigilant as when you're using heroes, to see if they're actually working or whether they're not working, or if they just completely suck and all that kind of stuff. Like a lot of people would say Walker goes into the bugged or broken tier, but I don't know if I would say that, because he has some use with his stuns and everything. He has a lot of utility, it seems. I've never really used him, but I've heard other people talking about using him. Alright, so those are the first two tiers that are like really kind of self-explanatory, and you don't have to think too hard about them. But the next 3 to 4 tiers are a little bit more in depth, and the first tier that I want to talk about with that one is I call it the MVP hero. You could call it really anything, but this hero it's basically the most important hero on your team. And well, I wouldn't say, yeah, I guess you could say it's like the most important hero, but anyway, this hero he's strong enough, he or she I should say, is strong enough to build a team around, and also has enough utility to fit almost any other team, whether it's a physical attack team or a magical attack team, doesn't really matter. They will fit pretty much any team that you build. So some examples of this would actually be Aaron. Aaron would be a really good hero to put on almost any team that you come up with. His skill set is just that universal and good that really the only teams he wouldn't really fit on is like a burial team or something like that, you know, where you don't want the heroes to be grouped up. Another hero that would be a really good example for this tier would be Scarlita. Tayleen's another one that might be in this tier. I'd really like to use Tayleen before I actually put her in this tier, because I don't know, I don't like to build tier lists if I haven't used a hero. But I have seen a lot of footage of Tayleen. I've seen a lot of people using her, and she's pretty damn good. So, and she fits a lot of different roles. She has great utility, like with her healing that she offers the team, plus she offers a revive to your team, does a lot of crazy things that are really good for any team that you build. Another hero that could fit in this category would be Elsa, possibly. So Elsa has a really, really solid kit that can fit a lot of teams, like a lot of different teams. And Vala is kind of in that same category also. So these are just like a couple heroes that I wanted to kind of talk about and discuss, or just like give as an example to who would fit in this MVP hero tier list. So that's about it for the MVP hero tier. The next one that I want to talk about is called the counter utility only tier. So these are heroes that they're not strong enough to build a team around them. However, they bring some really, really exceptional utility to an existing team, and they can easily be plugged into most teams. And they're usually like, these are like heroes that you usually build like 6th or 7th as you're going through the game and collecting hero copies. So heroes like Antandra, Lucius, Brutus, they all have specific utility that can counter certain types of heroes. However, you wouldn't necessarily build a team focused on, you know, making Brutus the big damage dealer, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. You don't usually do that with a hero like Brutus. And these are just examples, again, so you guys have an idea of what kind of hero I'm talking about that would fit into this tier. And yeah, other heroes that maybe would fit in here could be like a hero like Rowan or Smokey, where they're bringing a lot of utility and stuff, but you wouldn't build a team around them, and but they could be plugged into most teams and be effective. So that's the next tier. Now, the flip side of this tier, it's like basically the other side of the coin, is the build around / key heroes. And these are heroes that they're strong enough to build a team around them. However, they don't have enough utility to fit every team. And this is where most of your damage dealers will fall into. So heroes like Odie, Seth, Parissa, Shakir, Brian, they all fall into this category. And a hero like Odie, for example, say you're coming up against an Igor team, right? Or maybe a team that has Brutus on it, and you want to use Odie to counter Brutus's ability to be immune once he hits 0 HP, or you want to counter Igor's ability to just constantly tank fatal blow damage. And since they can't get around Odie's his heart attack skill, whatever it's called, I can't remember exactly, I think it's heart attack, but since they can't get around that, he becomes a key hero to counter them. And but you would not put Odie on any team that you build, because he can be really, really squishy on a lot of different teams, and it can cause you to lose, basically, is what it can do. So you have to be careful with the DPS heroes that you use. You can't build a full team with all build around key heroes. You can't do that. You can't build a team that's all counter utility heroes. You can't really build a team that's all MVP heroes. You need to have a healthy mix of these heroes to really build a solid, effective team that is well-rounded and just good in this game. So I think we are out of PvP fights, and we're actually on the last category. So the last category is another one that's pretty self-explanatory. It's it's PvE only. So these are heroes that would fall into this category are, you know, they're good for AFK stages, they're good for battle drills, they're good for arcane labyrinth, all, you know, all that kind of stuff, all the PvE content. But they maybe fall a little bit short when it comes to PvP because of, you know, whatever reason there is. So this is the way my tier list works. I think it's really helpful for team building because it allows you to, you know, pick an MVP hero and then maybe pick a utility counter heroes, whether it's one or two of them, and then also you pick your build around heroes or your key heroes that go in. So when I'm building a team, it usually starts with, it either starts with your favorite hero tier or it starts with the build around key hero tier. And then you move to what kind of teams am I trying to counter, or what kind of utility am I trying to bring, so it makes other people's teams harder to beat my own. And then you move into the MVP hero tier, where one of these heroes are probably going to be what wraps up the whole team and brings it into a nice, really cohesive unit that can just destroy other teams. So anyway, I hope this made sense to you guys and I didn't just like ramble a bunch of shit and confuse you all. I am making these videos on my phone, so I don't have the most I don't have an easy time, you know, making the tier lists. Like the ones I see that people make on that website or whatever, the tier list maker website, like I don't have access to that on my phone, so I can't really do that. And I'll figure out a way to actually do, like, put heroes into my tier list and show you guys. But for now, I just wanted to kind of show you guys how it works and explain how it works, because you can use this guide to make your own tier list and use that to build your own teams and everything. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share if you want. And that's going to be it for today. So I'll see you guys in the next one.